one gender, one race, one idea, and there is danger in that. Now, just to be clear, unless you are in category other, we are not always a part of that picture. What about some person like Sarah Thomas? What about Corey Herbert? What about Shayna Glass? Brilliant women whose ideas are often not heard and are hushed to a back corner while someone else gets the stage to share from their own classroom experiences. Our experts are mostly white and mostly male. You don't get to see women who are held as the stage as the creators and the innovators of ideas. There are mass problems, of course, with that when we get together as women, and what we get to talk about are not the work that we're doing in our schools, but we're talking about the lack of us in this space. But if we don't have those discussions, who does? That's a great and valid question. And so the person that said to me, diversity is not one-dimensional, I say, you know what? It isn't one-dimensional. It absolutely is not. It is not just race. It is not just gender or not even an idea. But it certainly is not 1 in 50. Because what happens is, when we get together as learners in the spaces that we created, we all bring our experiences, backgrounds, and ideas into it. You get to hear how the influence of my culture has had on my classrooms, and you take that and you use that in yours. But when I am not there, when we are not there, then what? The reality is, what we've learned and what we've experienced influences how we think, and it has greater impact beyond the teachers. It definitely has impact on the students of color, the students who are girls, who want to create characters or stories from their own experiences, but they can't just use the character handed to them. They have to pay the extra in-app purchase in order to do that. What about the students who are wanting to pursue art, wanting to pursue STEM courses, but instead their technology is test-driven and remediation because we can't quite see that beyond color? What about our boys? Our boys that are walking into our classrooms and their hoodies and pants maybe hanging down a little bit low, seen as thugs instead of innovators. Their voices are a one-way trip to suspension instead of the ability to create the learning that they so desire. What if they were able to hear from the Ken Sheltons of this world, from the Jose Vilson who happened to create Educolor? What if they were able to hear from Chris Aviles? What would our teachers think when they see these boys? Maybe they could see these great people in them. Maybe my son wouldn't see technology and programming as a white in them, but he may see himself as it's possible for him to do it as well. That has to be possible, but it starts with us doing it. It starts with us doing it with intention. So I'm going to challenge you today, and I know everybody's doing that. I want you to go back and look in your schools, look in your offices, look at who is planning the events we go to. And don't just look at who's presenting, look at who is present. Widen the scope of your influence. Bring more of us into it because we have value and absolutely much to add. Our girls need to see more women as leaders. They need to see themselves and the possibilities of who they've become. We don't get to see that enough. Yes, there's a little bit of change, but not enough. Don't include people in your decision-making that want to punish a child whose background he can't control by not giving him the same access that you give the school across town. And then we need to look at our own spaces and paint them with the same reckless abandonment that a child who's painting his Easter eggs does. It seems that simple. It should be. And I'm going to end this by saying that if we want real change to happen, it has to be with intent. It has to be by choice, not by chance. That's how diversity works. Because the reality is, we need to see us, they need to see us, because they will be greater than that when they are allowed to see it. Thank you.